You're back on Economic Outlook with me, Luisa Kusnandar, and let's go to our topic of the week. The Indonesia retail sales have begun to grow again after a sharp decline during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the growth in retail sales is still lower than the pre-pandemic level.
A large population and growing middle class, as well as higher household purchasing power, have made Indonesia as one of the most promising markets among Asian countries. Although the country's retail sector has not fully recovered after a sharp decline during the peak of COVID-19 pandemic in 2021, the sales have begun to increase. According to Indonesia's Retailers Association, APRINDO, annual retail sales rose by 3.2% during the first half this year, up from 3% last year. However, the growth is still lower than about 8% in 2019, before the COVID-19 hit the country. The association is upbeat the retail sector will grow by 4.2% year-on-year in 2023, as the surge in sales during the year-end, especially during Christmas, will help drive the annual sales. Association also hopes that an increase in consumer spending during the presidential and legislative elections in February and regional head elections or Pilkada in September will further drive up the retail sales next year. There will be a lot of political meetings as well as election campaigns during February and September elections, which will drive sales of merchandises, food, and beverages. Separately, the growth market reports projects that the country's market size is expected to increase to $71.89 billion by 2031 from about $46.34 billion in 2022. The growth of the market is attributed to growing middle-class population with higher purchasing power. Moreover, changing lifestyle is majorly contributing to market growth. In Indonesia, household spending has slowed down in the last few years. This is a major concern for the market as household spending has been a crucial driving factor for the economy, in addition to investment, exports, and government expenditure. The household spending has accounted for more than 50% of the nation's GDP. Meanwhile, a survey conducted by Statista, a global data and business intelligence platform, indicates that as of the third quarter of 2023, traditional trade held the highest market share of 83% in the fast-moving consumer goods or FMCG sector in Indonesia. Many markets followed with 7% market share in the FMCG sector. Traditional trade, which encompasses traditional markets, warung or small kiosks, and other family-run establishments, has been preferred by Indonesian consumers due to its accessibility. Although traditional trade has its benefits, it has struggled to compete with its modern competitors in terms of convenience. This problem was also amplified in some areas of the country due to the decreasing amount of people living in rural areas. As the value of retail sales from convenience stores continues to increase, these modern alternatives will continue to gain a foothold across Indonesia.
Now, with its large population and growing middle class, Indonesia remains one of the most promising retail markets in Asia. However, the recent growth trend is still lower than pre-pandemic level. And here with us this afternoon, Bapak Roy Mandey is the chairman of the Indonesian Retailers Association, or APRINDO. And Pak Mandey will talk about the growth trend in the retail business this year and the prospect for next year. 2024. Welcome, Pak Mandey, for being here in Economic Outlook. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you very much.
Pak Mandey, so the retail industry so far has not yet fully recovered as reflected in this year's sales growth, which is below the level before the COVID-19 pandemic, Pak Mandey. Why is the recovery in the retail sector going so slow and it's still very weak?
Yes, as we know that at our sector as retailers, it depends on the mobility of the customer. It depends on the purchasing power of the customer, and it depends on the food availability and depends on the stability price. So there are some criteria when we are talking about the retail sector. Sometimes in our sector, we cannot handle in our side, internally, but we have to depend on the situation of the external. Yeah. For instance, I'd like to give you the information. Like the food availability, it makes the price can grow or can go to low. The situation in fact like this. Rice. When the production of the rice in Indonesia cannot fulfill of the demanding of all the people in Indonesia, so we have to import. And right now, as we know that any countries that usually we can import it from them, but right now they banned because they have to protect themselves about the food availability. So what happens about this situation? The price of rice can grow. So as we know that the inflation of the rice is right now is around the 7 to 0.2%, more than higher than before. The rest is we can talk about like the sugar, we can talk like the any commodity, prime commodity of the peoples. So when we cannot control about the price, so what's happened in the retail sector, I said that we have to follow the situation. Okay. That's the issue. And the second issue, when we are talking like the purchasing power, so it depends on the situation of where the countries can handle the inflation. As we know that when the inflation is going up, so we can go to the decreasing of the consumption because any people wants to restrain about the behavior of their behavior to spend money. So that is the situation that our retail. So, but as we know that because the retail sector is one of the contributor of the household consumption. Our GDP, write it down from the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter, our consumption, household consumption, contributed around the 52%.
Okay. So
it means that when the contribution of the consumption is strong, so there is no getting lower to our retailers than before, but lower, it depends on the situation. It depends on the season. It depends on the when the government cannot handle the inflation, so maybe it can decrease. But when already sure the inflation is going up, it's going stable, so the purchasing power can better and normally again. So that is the situation of our retail. So hope that in this year we have optimistic to our retailers, not so big than before, but minimum the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, minimum the same.
So from the statistics that we have, APRINDO has projected this year's growth in retail sector will increase to around 4 to 4.2% from 3.8 to 3.9% in 2022.
Yes.
How are we in terms of these numbers? Is this target still very much achievable or not?
Yes, in our reports from the members, that is still achieved, yeah, because yeah, we can see the government still power to make the inflation not more than 2%. From the quarter three, from the quarter two to quarter three, around the 2.56% going to the 2.80%. So it's not so significant for the inflation, yeah. So below of the 3%. And talking about the food availability and the stability price, there are some commodity is going up, but most of them is still stable.
Okay.
Yes. There are only 2 or 3 commodity, the main commodity, as we know that right now is going up, but most of them still stability. So we hope that because this is the second season in this year, one big season is Ramadan, and the second season is Natal Tahun Baru, Christmas and the New Year. So we hope that our target is around 3.8 till the 4% can achieve in latest in this year.
Right. Pak Mandey, the World Bank has estimated that Indonesia's GDP growth will weaken to 4.9% in 2024 as well as 2025, lower than about 5% this year. How is the prospect in the retail industry going to look like for the next 2 years?
Yes, because in this country, Indonesia, household consumption is still dominantly than the government spending, investment, and export. So when the government concentrate to protect about these things, such as that, look forward to make a stable of the inflation, purchasing power, the trust of the customer. So usually, we hope that we can contribute the same. Yeah. We are not the same when the COVID. That is a very ridiculous. Yeah. Our economy minus 2% and our retail is decreased more than 2%. But after we handle COVID well and we are going to the pandemic and the after pandemic, we hope that not so high, but the same one is one of our needs and optimistic.
You're saying that we're still on track to getting there to the pre-pandemic levels.
Yes.
Now, there will be, as we all know, presidential and as well as legislative election coming in February next year. How big is the impact of the election on the retail industry? How much will it affect the retail industry?
Yes, of course, because the new government usually giving us the new regulation, new policy, new more better about the anything of the circumstances of the government, ecosystem and the government. So we hope that the new government can do well more than before. As usual, that is not the same that any kind of things. Yeah. So after election, we hope that we can go with peace and solid, conducive. So the economy, we optimist that can through better and minimum the same within this year.
Exactly, we're hoping for that stability.
Yes.
That's the minimum of what we're hoping after the election. Now, let's talk more about the more hot topic recently about online shopping. Now, online shopping, Pak Mandey, has gained immense popularity these past few years. Does the online shopping affect the sales of existing offline outlets such as department stores? Because we see at the moment department stores are getting more and more quiet these days, as we can witness by going to the mall. How to deal with this?
Yes, I want to say that like this. It's necessary to make the level same playing field through the online and offline. Because right now there is no code like the people say the dichotomy. Offline have an online right now, and online have an offline right now. So it's important things how the government make the balancing of the business regulation and any kind of the permits and so on with the level and same playing field. Taxation and so on with the level and same playing field. That is the first. And the second one, the government needs to protect the local products. Yeah? Local products means that not only local products, but also the any kind of the product can produce from Indonesia to sell through the retails. If we import it from any countries, when there is no production in Indonesia, that is a good things. But yeah, I've heard that the government right now is running go to there. And talking about the online and offline, we have the main segmentation of the customer right now. So if you know that there is no products can buy through online, like the vegetable, like the groceries, like the fruits, like the meat, like the fish, have to go to the supermarket, mini market, hypermarket. But if the product is very simple and standard, maybe can buy the online. So online and offline can fulfill together. And the important things, it's necessary to make the same playing field of the anything matter, of the regulation, taxation, and any kind of the perception that online have to same with the offline, offline have to same the online. That is the first things that I need to say.
Last question, Pak Mandey. So do you think that the offline retail store still has a chance to actually be playing at the same level? Or would you actually say that online shopping is actually the future and we just have to like adjust to what's going on at the moment?
Yes, because there is much product right now, many product right now cannot buy through the online. Have to go to the offline and offline have an online right now through the handphone, through the web, through the application and so on. And the online, some the online corporation have the offline store. So offline is still promising business in Indonesia because we have a lot of the population and many of the population needs to come with family. As we know that Indonesia is a family country. Yeah?
Yes.
Usually they want to buy something together in the weekend with the family and so on. So offline store is still promising and too much region right now, still many region right now does not have retail offline with well managed and well services. So it's still promising and we want to going to the next further, move forward in Indonesia.
Okay, so Pak Mandey, Chairman of the Indonesian Retailers Association, thank you so much for sharing your insights and thoughts with us on Economic Outlook, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you,
Pak Mandey.